The golden rule states that you should treat other people the way that you'd love to be treated. It is as simple as that. But I guess white farmers failed at this because the moment that they were enjoying all those the USDA support, they were enjoying all those loans, all those funds that they were getting, but black people were never enjoying anything. Black people were forgotten. Black people were left to fend for themselves. Well, indeed, they fended for themselves. Against all odds, they rose. But on the other side, we had white farmers. White farmers enjoyed all these privileges that they had, but they never thought that there will be a time when they'll need these people, that now they're deciding to remain complacent, or they're deciding to remain silent in their suffering, while at the back of the door, they are benefiting from the suffering of black farmers. Today, we are seeing black farmers, specifically farmers from the Louisiana, coming out and crying for black folks, and they want black people to come work for their farms. Much worse, they want black farmers to leave their farms, come work on their farms. Truly diabolical, right? That's really diabolical. It is because they failed to apply the golden rule. Because right now, they want black people to be empathetic. They want black people to, come work on their farms. But do they, think about the golden rule? If they were in the position of black people, will they help? But they've proven that they've never helped. They benefited from all these things while black people were going all through the challenges that they were going through. Black people were suffering. Black people were going all through all those things, but there was nobody who was there to support black farmers. And this made black people, this made black farmers to know that they don't have any friends. So what do? They formed communities. Simple. They formed communities. They shared seeds. They shared strategies how to utilize that they had. But what did white farmers started doing? White farmers started competing against each other, and hence they didn't have the unity. Brothers and sisters, I don't want to say much. I want to switch the video, and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. I'm your host and pray Zenta Jindok Stories. So let's get into it. I'll be back.
It's just been harder and harder and harder to find those people to work.
Black farmers. Imagine how healthy we would be if we had more black farmers. Or let's pretend we have only black farmers, right?
Hold on, so let me get this straight. The white farmers in Louisianers, they're mad because people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. Let me run that back. White farmers are mad. The very farmers that voted Republican, okay, they voted for this, are mad that people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. I'm saying you get what you ask for. Hey, it's FAFO type shit, okay? But hey, don't be fooled. I feel like it's gonna come to a point where they're finna make people get on their farm.
We must talk about this. We have to talk about the status of the farmers. Yep, the farmers. That overwhelmingly, the white farmers that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Now, the farmers are asking for welfare from the government because a lot of them are losing their farms because the subsidies that they get from the government, they can't afford the farms without the subsidies in many cases. And they're like, look, we need help. But here's the difference. When the black farmers asked for help, the white farmers filed a lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit against the black farmers for asking for assistance from the federal government. And they weren't able to receive the assistance from the government because of the white farmers filing the lawsuit. Question is, do you think farmers white farmers should receive the help, the same help that the black farmers had asked for, and they filed a lawsuit. Should the black farmers do the same thing and file a lawsuit? Get in the comments. Let me know.
So them farmers really thought we was coming to get in them fields? Is that what I'm reading? Y'all really thought we was coming to get in those fields? It's funny when black people say stuff. Like over a year ago, when we said that Donald Trump specifically saying that immigrants were coming over here to steal black jobs meant that him deporting them was supposed to open the door for us to get back in the fields. Of course, immediately, most people said, y'all are reaching. Now here we are. They are literally on Twitter, all over social media, complaining about the...
Trump, I really hope that you can get out there and help them. I know Biden and them put a plan together to subsidize farmers when they were having hard times in situations like this. But Trump, you didn't do that. You're not doing that. And they're asking for you to come out. I heard one guy said that, you said you love the farmer and now he needs the fruit of their labor or something. So I'm curious, is this administration going to help out the farmers? Because they're needing some help. A lot of people are calling it socialism, that they don't like it. But it is what it is. You think the farmers are going to get the help they need? What do you think? You think President Donald Trump's going to come through for them? I hope so. You know, we got pulled up by our bootstraps, a lot of these people.
I'll never understand why Republicans continuously vote for people who do not represent them at all, but rather represent the elites. Listen to these farmers in Arkansas, who all voted for Trump, by the way, pleading for his help because he is actively destroying their farms and their futures.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
These aren't isolated stories either. It's happening across the entire United States to rural farmers. They are having their livelihoods crushed. Farmers have spent years, decades even, building their legacy only to have it slip away under the guise of Donald Trump's tariffs. Customers losing hope and choosing to take their own lives. Farmers not being sure if they're going to be able to pass along their farms or not because they're going bankrupt. This type of despair demands our attention. As I mentioned before, the root of all of this suffering is coming from the guy that they all voted for, Donald Trump. His tariffs on steel and parts have made tractors, combines, and repairs far more expensive. Fertilizer prices are also skyrocketing, with some people reporting hundreds of dollars of an increase per ton. This, of course, raises production costs across the entire board. Many farmers were also relying on grants promised by Joe Biden, which Donald Trump took away. They thought they were going to receive this money, and then Donald Trump canceled it. Additionally, soybean farmers are getting crushed right now, with China, their main buyer, dropping U.S. purchases this year to 0. Of course, this was in response to Donald Trump's tariffs, and that's a demand collapse they haven't seen in decades. We're seeing the evidence in front of our eyes every single day. Donald Trump's policies are destroying the United States.
Arkansas farmers are praying for mercy, for help, because they are going bankrupt due to Trump's tariffs. And it's terrible because they voted for these tariffs, and then they are being bankrupted by the very I mean, it is crazy, patriots. It's almost like I vote for the guillotine, and you're like, please, I love my ad. Please, I love my ad. Why are they going to take it? You voted for the guillotine to take it. Guys, come on. I don't enjoy any global patriots hurting. I told you so. I'm not a FAFO type of spirit. Woosah. I'm wishing all of you farmers the best, but I'm here to let you know the Lord is not going to be your answer. The answer was all of the workers that they took off of your farms. The answer is voting differently for everyone. You have to vote in your best interest. And no, it's us versus them. Are you a billionaire, farmers? Because I'm not. So you and I have that in common. They are billionaires. You don't have that in common with them. Do you see that? Isn't that interesting? Left to right, we have so much more in common than billionaires to us. Think about it. I'm just saying, I'm a man for peace. I wish the farmers the best, but I also have to say it is going to get worse. Where is all the workers? Where's the work going to come from? How are we going to get? And in return, we all get screwed because grocery prices, I don't know who's saving money at the grocery store. I pay at least $500 a week in groceries. That's $2,000 a month. Let me know, what do you guys spend at the store? Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of TikTok.
Well, I did it again, damn it. Went down that damn rabbit hole, and it was fun. Because I strolled down this hole of farmers that are mad because they're about to lose their farm. Because that federal grant money hasn't shown up yet. And they don't know what to do. And all of them crying. But damn it, in every freaking video, all of them, and I mean all of them, except for maybe one or two, all of them voted for Trump. So why are you complaining is my question. You voted for this. You asked for this stupidity. You complaining that you're about to lose your farm because you voted for a man who told you what he was going to do. But that's your freaking fault. Because you voted for your whiteness instead of voting your heart. Because you didn't want to see that black lady in office. So you voted for that white man. And you knew he was a crook. You knew he was a thief. You knew he was going to do all the dumb shit because you've seen it before. But you mad because you're about to lose your farm. Some of them crying. This land been in my family forever. Yeah. Because it was given to you a long, long time ago. And I ain't crying. And I ain't mad. And I don't care. Because that's what you get for voting for your whiteness. You voted for your whiteness instead of voting for the proper person that you knew was good for that job. But you wanted that man in office that bad. You didn't want her in office. You can't say you voted for the lesser of two evils. You voted his color, not his character. And before we get off of this, y'all know what to do. Hit the heart, share the video, do what we do. This TikTok, damn it. You knew better, but you did it. See, this land that y'all got for free, that's been passed down through the generations, that we didn't get our 40 acres of the mule. So why are we going to be mad because you about to lose yours? This is by design. All of those corporations are buying up farmland across the freaking country. This is on purpose. But you've yet to realize that. Kamala had you saved. The money was appropriated. It was there. But you had to vote for Trump. You knew what he was. You knew what kind of guy he is. But you voted your color. And you thought you was going to get that privilege. But now you understand. If you ain't worth 7, 8 figures, he don't give a shit about you. Or your cousin, or your sister, your auntie. Nobody. Now you look like me to him. Because you ain't got it like that. So, I'm sorry you about to lose your land. But I really don't give a damn. Because you knew better. All of you. But you wanted to vote for your privilege and your color instead of who was deserving and who was better. So blame yourself, blame your neighbor, blame the people down the street. It ain't our
Farmers and truck drivers and really anybody reliant on diesel is being forced into making tough decisions here in Iowa and across the country as this war continues to drag on. They tell me that they are being pushed in many cases to their very limits.
You can't lose money year after year after year and keep the business going. And that's the scary part right now.
Many experts say that even if the war were to end immediately, that many of these problems and elevated prices are going to last for weeks. And when it comes to farmers in particular, that might already affect next year's growing season.
Well, if farmers break, why then there's less food for everybody in the world.
So we just got some bad news about America's farmers, and it's going to affect your grocery prices. It's from a newly released survey of over 5,700 farmers conducted by the American Farm Bureau. The survey's biggest takeaway is that 7 out of 10 American farmers now say they cannot afford all of the fertilizer they need for this planting season. Why? Trump's war and the Strait of Hormuz closure. They have sent fertilizer prices through the roof. Because remember, a meaningful percentage of the world's fertilizer components travel through the Strait of Hormuz. Nitrogen fertilizer prices are up more than 30%. Urea, a key crop nutrient, is up 47% in just the last 2 months. It's the worst in the South. Nearly 80% of farmers there can't afford what they need. And y'all, farmers are already struggling under Trump's economy. Look at this. 94% of respondents reported their financial situation has worsened or remained the same since last year. When farmers can't afford fertilizer, they plant less. When they plant less, food supplies tighten and prices go up for everyone at the grocery store. This is not a warning from the future. This report just came out. This is happening right now. And even if the strait does reopen soon, it's going to be too late for this planting season. Remember how Trump said he was going to lower your grocery prices on day one? Instead, his foreign policy blew up the global supply chain that American farmers depend on to feed you. And now
American farmers are bracing for some big changes under President Trump's new immigration policy. They don't know what the future workforce could look like in an industry that relies very heavily on this migrant labor. Nearly half of America's farm workers, half, are thought to be undocumented.
American farms are on the decline. There was a 7% drop in farms from 2017 to 2022, according to the USDA. That's about 142,000 fewer farms in just 5 years. These days, farmers are up against bird flu outbreaks, higher costs for feed and fertilizer, and climate change. But their livelihoods depend on a reliable workforce. And now they're concerned about how President Trump's campaign promise to launch the largest deportation effort in American history will play out. Immigration taking center stage from day one.
First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
About 2/3 of crop workers are foreign-born. And while many come to the U.S. for seasonal jobs legally through H-2A visas, the USDA estimates that 42% of crop laborers are undocumented. New Jersey farmer Kurt Alstead says his workers are all legally authorized, but he's watching closely to see what Trump does next. When we talk about the ripple effects of a potential mass deportation, labor is already hard enough to find as is. Could it be even more difficult to find across the board if that does happen?
Well, there's no question in the United States we have a shrinking workforce. Anything that happens from a policy standpoint that reduces people in our workforce is going to make it very difficult for industry, and certainly for agriculture. We would be in big trouble if we lost workforce.
The labor union, United Farm Workers, has already seen an uptick in migrants asking for help.
The threats are scary, but at the same time, farm workers more than anyone understand the reality that without them, this work is not going to get done.
And fewer workers could mean less homegrown produce, according to University of Montana economist Diane Charlton.
But there will be less domestically grown fruits and vegetables.
Does that mean more farms could go belly up?
Definitely.
Nate Chittenden, a third-generation New York dairy farmer, says his industry needs change.
We all want safe, affordable food in this country. We all realize that people that work hard deserve a chance to improve their lives. You know, we have to figure out what we can do to make that happen without breaking the system.
Bethany Gotts owns Quay's Farm in Mountain Home. But now, with fewer workers, a lot of the manual labor is left up to her. She tells me she's tried hiring locally, but it's been difficult to find people willing to do the hard work.
Finding a legal American here that is going to work as hard as an immigrant is nearly impossible.
She even posted job openings on Facebook.
Wow, so many things in that video. Okay, first, what she actually meant was illegal immigrant workers, because she does later on say that she is now being forced to apply for the H-2 visa program, and she's actually building, I believe, spending up to like $200,000 building these living quarters for the people if she can bring them over on the H-2 visa. So here's what happens on these farms. By the way, this has been a thing for a very long time. So this actually happened back in 2021, I believe. And what happens are they rely on this work from illegal immigrants, and then they get used to that whole situation. And now when that situation changes, they now have to figure out what to do. So they can pay lower wages. They bring down the wages, which basically makes that the norm in that industry. It lowers the wages. And also, if you're hiring people that are undocumented, you don't have to abide by labor laws. And some of the conditions, and I'm not saying hers, but on these farms that have been investigated here in the U.S. are, not good. And it says farm workers in the U.S., especially immigrant workers, have few protections. They were excluded from the National Labor Relations Act passed in 1935 and from the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. Workers in America's agricultural fields are regularly subjected to abuses, high occurrences of and harassment, wage theft, including injuries, fatalities, being exposed to hazardous situations, all of these things.
In the black community, I believe for us it's about 7% compared to about 4.5% for just about any other demographic. But that also means that 93% of us have jobs. 93% of us are working. And 93% of us were never coming out into those fields to pick your stupid crops. Y'all are supposed to be the pick them up by their bootstraps people, right? Y'all are always the ones talking about earn this, that, hard work, this, that. But then y'all never want to do your own damn work. Y'all brought us over here, all right? We spent hundreds of years doing that stuff for free. We spent another 100 years after that with Jim Crow rights. We fought, bled, died, protested, did everything we possibly could to gain the rights that we have now. We live in this country, we work, we own businesses. We are not going back to your fields. Can y'all just let that shit go? Like, can y'all let it go? It ain't gonna happen. And there's nothing you're gonna do to make it happen. You don't got the numbers, you don't have the manpower. We're not going back. The experiment failed, okay? And now guess what's happening? Food is rotting in the ground because y'all really thought we was coming back out there.
So I want to talk about this article really quick because it's all starting to make so much sense right now. This author and journalist was having lunch with friends. There was a white guy and he's married to a black lady and they were talking politics. And he says that farmers weren't worried about Trump deporting migrants because, wait for it, they thought because unemployment was so high for black people that these black people would run back to the fields and do the jobs that the migrants were doing when they got deported. So she asked, like, where'd you get that information from? White farmer TikTok or MAGA Facebook memes? Like, where'd you get this information from? And her and the wife basically started giving him information, letting him know unemployment is only 6.8% for African Americans and 93%.
Morning. By now you've probably seen a video of the farmer that's entered, the MAGA farmer that's entered the find out phase. And if you haven't, you will. It's gone viral. It's old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Biddy and Bose, you need to try them out. Good company. Look, this guy never makes it back to reality. If you haven't seen it, Cliff's Notes is he had a farm program that was working for him. Trump came in, killed it. Never makes his way back to reality. The closest he gets is both sidism. I've watched a couple subsequent videos of what he said after that one that went viral, and the closest he gets is both sidism. Both sides are bad. And then the stuff he talks about, there's just no equating. Like he talks about eggs and Trump being blamed for high egg prices. Well, we didn't blame Biden for high egg prices, so it's not the same. No, he doesn't understand. We're not blaming Trump for high egg prices. We're blaming him for believing the president is responsible for high egg prices. He never gets there. He talks about how low gas prices under Trump helped him, but never gets to the point where he understands the gas prices today, that's the definition of low. These aren't hurting him gas prices. And we can't get back to the gas prices where the economy is crushed and shut down because of a global pandemic. That's not the definition of low gas prices. That's desperation gas prices, and we can't go there again. He never makes it. Folks, that's what I'm telling you about MAGA. Stop trying to reach these people. You can't. You can't. Elections are decided by a couple percentage points. That's it. A blowout is 5 points. Stop shit-talking Democrats. Get on board. Get to the couple of people that aren't dyed-in-the-wool MAGA that fucked up and voted for Trump. That's it. That's the assignment. Do it.
Soybean farmer Caleb Ragland, who's also president of the American Soybean Association. We've heard from him before. He makes it clear the money is useful as a Band-Aid. If your arm is cut, you need a Band-Aid on it. But you also need to think about, can I avoid getting cut in the first place? Take a listen to what he had to say.
Last time we've had you on, and we have had the chance to talk to you pretty regularly throughout this very difficult year, you told us that the government bailouts never make farms profitable. So while you're grateful for this, in terms of the long term, does this fix things?
Well, this is a Band-Aid on an open wound. And again, we're thankful that there's something that this will help keep some farms in business. But what we truly need are market-based solutions. Those are sustainable long-term. Here domestically, we have opportunities for the administration to finalize the renewable volume obligations for biofuels here before the end of the year, the 45Z tax credit. We have numerous opportunities to expand markets worldwide, and we truly need demand because without demand, we're not able to receive a price that is economically sustainable for our crop.
You know, one of the things that's really interesting that I've been thinking about, Caleb Ragland there says, we need demand. We need demand is an accurate rebuttal to so many of these right-wing economic ideas. Tax cuts for the rich are how you help the economy. No, the economy needs demand. Tax cuts for the rich are how businesses decide to expand. No, businesses decide to expand when there is demand for the product or service. Well, we're going to help the farmers with a bailout just by giving them cash. No, we need demand. It's the dynamics of the market that are going to determine what we need to do, what we can do, how our businesses are going to succeed or not succeed. And Caleb Ragland is making that extraordinarily clear here.
And that's what American soybean farmers want, is opportunities to make a living, to make a profit from the market, not being dependent on the next program to keep us from bleeding to death. But the situation's serious. I've been farming 21 years now full time, and this is by far the most serious economic situation that I've experienced and my family's experienced. And I think that's the same for many farmers across this country. We're looking at a 1980s type farm crisis if this trend continues, and we're hoping to turn the tide. We need opportunity. The American farmer is the best in the world. We simply need a level playing field, both for our cost of production and making sure that we don't have obstacles that are causing our exports to be hindered.
So listen, we are again finding ourselves in this scenario where Donald Trump has set a massive fire, And then he wants to put out a little bit of it and wants everybody to praise him. And in fact, he found a farmer willing to come to the White House and suck up to him earlier this week saying, oh, my kids want to meet you more than Santa Claus or whatever. We really need economic policy that doesn't cause these problems in the first place. It was predictable because Trump did the same thing during his first term. One more farmer who says not only Caleb Ragland said, the bailout is appreciated, but it doesn't solve the problem. We've got to solve the problem. This farmer says...
Hello, what's up, folks? How are you doing? As you know, I'm your host and present hygienic stories. Welcome back to the channel. American farmers, white farmers to be specific, they are looking at things and now they are saying, you know what? We want your help, Trump. And probably they are giving the reason as to why they want help. And what stands out is that they want help. They want Trump help them do some dirty work. First is to force black people to work on their farms. Two is to make black farmers leave their farms, come work on their farms. Yeah. But let's just take a step back. Let me take you through this. It is the year 2020, the year 2023, the year 2024, right? 2023, 2024. Americans are heading to an election. They are being warned about Trump. And they're saying at the back of their mind that, you know what? We cannot listen to you. They go ahead. They vote for Mr. Donald Trump. Black people start ranting online. We see black people crying because they know what was coming. On the other side, we saw white people celebrating. We saw white people happy. Some of them, blasting parties and, celebrating Mr. Donald Trump. All is cool. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. 6 months down the line, America is noticing something. The prices of the things that they were able to afford out. Tariffs on produce spikes, get so much high. White farmers starts panicking. White farmers probably say that, probably this is strategy for Trump. We trust Trump. He's gonna make things work for us. As time goes by, the tariffs are so high. The foods, the produce, they are all rotting on the farm. There is nobody to work. There is nobody to do all these things. The crackdown starts. The ICE agents sends everybody away. And now white farmers realize that, you know what? This is a full-blown problem that we gotta deal with it. But on the other side, we have black farmers, generally black people. Black farmers learned one thing. The system doesn't support them. And if the system supports them, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So they learn the resilience. They learn the importance of community. They learn the importance of sharing all this knowledge, doing conferences, knowing how to survive with the little, tilling your lands, making it as much as productive as possible. On the other side, because of greed, white farmers start competing against each other. Definitely. I think it's human nature, right? So they start competing against each other. They compete against each other. They compete against each other. They compete against each other. Then this is what happens. They don't stand for their rights when now everything started going the other way around. Black farmers still keeping their cool. They are seeing how everything is happening. And they know What's next? And they brace themselves for what is really coming. Because they're already prepared. They know what they're doing. On the other side, white farmers are realizing that, you know what? This is gone. We don't have anything for us. We don't have anything that's for us. They start seeing the betrayal of Trump. They start calling him out. They go out on the streets. They want black farmers to have them protest. But black farmers say, hold on, hold on, hold on. You know what? Do you remember when you were benefiting from the USDA? Do you remember when we never got any support? It's called the Golden Rule. I'll check you back to the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule again states that do to others what you would want to be done unto you. It is the same Golden Rule that Jesus used. Remember when Jesus said that? Love others just as you love yourself. Right. Now you're starting to understand where this comes from. And love is the greatest command. And this is called the Golden Rule. I really don't know. Probably tell me. All these white farmers are now waking up when it's too late. First, they made the wrong decision. They chose a person that don't give a damn about the economy. They don't give a damn about their pockets. They're learning just as hard as it can be. So brothers and sisters, please, let me know what you will think about this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Hygienic Stories, and I'm hoping to see you on my next video. And until then, I must say again, stay safe you all, and peace, love, and harmony.